Good morning. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance for this lovely Friday. I can hear the wind out there with the wind chimes. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's kick-ass coach and psychologist, here with some words of wisdom for our day. And we have no flip screen today. Apparently, Facebook decided today was not a flip screen day, so whatever. This one I want to actually have us do an experiential kind of thing with this one, because I think it can help make the point of the card much more strongly. So let's just start with a couple of nice deep breaths. And exhale. Good morning to whomever popped on. Inhale. Good morning, Luann. Exhale. Glad you're here. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, just kind of settling in. Just feeling into your body, seeing if there are any little tweaks or irritations, etc. Just breathing into those spaces, allowing those to release, relax. Today our card comes from Denise Lynn's Native Spirit deck. And it's a very pretty card, but I'm not sure how well it's going to show up on the screen. So that's not too bad. And notice the full moon. I believe our full moon is tomorrow. Full moon being a time of manifesting the intentions that we set during the new moon 2 weeks earlier. So we'll see what comes with that. And our card is Shapeshifter. So let's just see what it has to tell us. Card meaning, you can be anything you desire. Just let that sink in for a moment and notice when your mind kicks in and says that, well, that isn't going to work, that isn't how this is, blah, blah. Just notice it. Don't do battle with it. Just notice it. You can be anything you desire. And your logic and reason is going to want to kick in, but let's get out of your head and into your heart and soul. You can be anything you desire. Let go of attachment to your identity. And that was one of the things that we talked about on our moon ceremony on Tuesday, moving into this full moon, very energy pregnant time, is that identity, our identity as an individual, as a collective, is all up for change, and much change is occurring as we're up-leveling. So your identity, most of the time when we think about our identity, we slap a bunch of labels on ourselves. Well, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a this or that, whatever, a teacher, whatever. But this is about transcending labels, and this is about really settling into who you are as a human, walking this earth, doing this earth walk, all right? Let go of attachment to your identity. See the world around you with new eyes. Be malleable. Experiment with different ways of viewing reality. See the point of view of others. And that's kind of what we're going to do today, is we're going to step into some different point of views and see how it, and see how it influences our perception. If you haven't been able to manifest your dreams, maybe you need to shift the way you see other people or situations. We'll see what comes of this, right? Your native spirit wants you to know, in earth-based cultures, shapeshifters had the mystical ability to transform into other forms of consciousness. It's said that these beings were not imagining that they were changing into a specific animal, plant, or stone. They could actually morph into another shape. Just because most people today don't think this is possible doesn't mean that's not true. This card chose you because it wants you to know that your past does not need to equal your future. So we don't need to schlep along all that old baggage that told us who we were when it really wasn't who we were. It was something imposed from outside of us. Simply shifting your point of view or your belief system can bring an entirely new destiny into being. So think about that as a little kid. Remember standing and looking at something and closing one eye and then closing the other, and it would bounce back and forth? That's shifting a perspective, isn't it? It's a small shift, but it's an observable shift. You can see the difference when you're looking from one eye to the other. The journey. To deepen your ability to shapeshift, simply imagine that you're an animal, bird, plant, or stone. Make it as real as you can. Doing this deepens your ability to shift your beliefs and limiting decisions that perhaps have held you back from fulfilling your highest destiny. So let's play around with this a little bit today. I want you to think about a circumstance in your life that limits you in some way. It may be your physical being. I'm not as strong as I used to be. I'm not as fast as I used to be. I had that injury, whatever it is. Might be, that's a cool one to come at it from. It might be a relationship issue with your spouse, with one of your children, with a coworker, with your boss. Think of something where there's a stuck feeling, a limited feeling. Welcome to whomever else has joined us. Just pick a situation or a circumstance where you feel limited in some way. So it might be advancement at work. Again, it might be your physical being. I can't do the things I used to do. All of that stuff. Just pick one. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to take some nice deep breaths. And I want you to really bring yourself home to your own body, your perceptual vehicle, the eyes, the ears, the smell, all the things that you do with this physical vehicle, all right? And once you've settled into this space, then I want you to examine that situation that feels stuck. And I want you to look at it through your perceptual perspective. So you're using your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth to examine that particular situation. Your hands. What can you observe about that situation using your physical body? A couple of breaths with that. Now I want you to add in some other ways of perceiving. So I'm going to start with proprioception. So let's say you were, I know some of you are going to go, you're nuts, I can't do that. That's okay. Let's say you were looking at this situation while you were standing on your head. Notice how it looks different from that perspective. I used to do that often as a little kid. I'd be laying in bed at night and I'd think to myself, what if the ceiling were the floor and the floor were the ceiling? And I'd imagine walking around on the ceiling and stepping over the tops of door frames and avoiding light fixtures and stuff like that. But look at this current stuck situation, circumstance from the upside down position. What do you notice about it? What shifts? How does it change when it's upside down? Then I want you to do, we're going to do another one with proprioception. I want you to tip your head to one side and look at it. So if it's something about your body, you may want to imagine that you're looking at yourself in a mirror and you're just tipping your head to one side. How does the perception change then? And then tip it to the other side. Because in yoga, we want to do everything equally on both sides so we're balanced. What looks different from this perspective? Now I want you to close your eyes and look through your intuitive eyes at this situation. And I want you to imagine circling the situation, almost like the situation is held still, whether it's an event that happened at work, whether it's your beingness, your body. It stands still and you are walking around it with your eyes closed, just perceiving it from different angles, noticing the energy of it as you move around it. Now I want you to bring in your very best friend, whomever you trust the most, the person who knows you the best. Well, you can open your eyes back up. But in this scene is now your best friend, this person who knows you well. Whether they're deceased or still alive, doesn't matter. They're there, okay? And I want your energy to move into them. So you're stepping into this person who knows you, who loves you, whatever. And I want you to look through their eyes, their physical ears, their physical body, so they can touch this situation and bring in the perspective through their perceptual equipment. How does it look different when you're looking at it through your best buddy's eyes? What do they see that looks a little bit different than when you looked at it through your own eyes? Again, if it feels appropriate, you can walk around that circumstance, that situation. So again, if you're dealing with a bodily issue, you can be in your friend, walking around your own body, observing it from different perspectives. Good morning, Joe. Glad you're here. We're doing a little exercise in shape-shifting. So you're in your best friend's being, and you're walking around yourself or whatever circumstance you've chosen that feels stuck. Noticing the perceptual differences. When you're looking through someone else's eyes, how does it look different? Now I want you to bring in someone who you deem as wise, who you see it might be an elder, might be someone who just has that old soul quality to them, but bring in someone who's really wise, very perceptually astute. And I want you to step out of your best friend's body, and I want you to step into the body of that elder, that person who's very astute, has good perceptual wisdom, and now look at that circumstance, that allegedly stuck situation, through their eyes. Through their beingness. What do they see that's different than you? Yes, Mel says, wow, the perception is totally different. I love this exercise so far. Good, good, good. Because what I want you to realize with this is our own perception is simply one way of looking at something. All right? So now when you're looking at it through this wise person's perception, notice if there's more options that open up. When you're not locked into your own identity or your beliefs about this is how it ought to be, notice how everything opens up. Now I'm going to give you an opportunity here. I want you to pick someone else. It can be someone you don't like. It can be someone who's part of the problem, whatever it is. So you're going to step out of the being of the wise person. You're going to step into this other being, whomever you pick. Could be your dog. You want your dog's perspective on this thing. Whatever it is, step into it. And again, observe. Observe this seemingly stuck circumstance, which hopefully by now you're beginning to see really isn't stuck. That's only in our perception that we had it be a stuck thing. Check it out from that perspective there. And now we're going to try some fun things. I want you to imagine that this circumstance is located out in nature somewhere. So you might transport your office out into nature somewhere. You might transport your physical body out into nature. This old event, whatever it is, it's out existing in nature. And I want you to take the perspective of a tree. I want you to step into a tree that's in that nature scene and observe this situation through the beingness of that tree. Maybe it's a young sapling, maybe it's an old tree, but just step into that tree perspective and observe that situation. How does that change the perspective? We're going to do 2 more. So after you've learned what you can learn from this tree's perspective, and know that you can return to any of these perspectives anytime you choose, all right? So now I want you to step out of tree, And I want you to step into Eagle. Eagle, who's soaring around this scene, has the bird's eye view, literally, very keen vision. I want you to look through eagle eyes at your circumstance, whatever that situation is, your own body, if that's what you've picked. What's the observation like from way up there? Notice. Notice with all the senses. Again, we tend to rely heavily on physical vision, but the eagle may close its eyes as it's soaring around and observe it through spiritual vision, intuitive vision. What does that show you about that circumstance? And one last one. I want you to step out of Eagle's perspective, and I want you to step into the perspective of Source. God, Spirit, the divine, universe, however you want to look at it, that expansive beyond measure perspective. And then observe that situation. Notice how that changes the perspective of that situation. Really puts it in a different place, doesn't it? Just observe. From being at one with Source, from observing from the cosmos or however that presents to you, notice how different the perspective is on that thing you've chosen to observe. And then when you're ready, another couple of nice deep breaths. Coming back into your body, right here, right now. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. I hope what that helped you see is that things aren't a specific way. They are all about perception. How we choose to look at something makes all the difference in the world. So you can do all kinds of interesting things with this. Let's say there's a circumstance and you've been looking at it through your own physical eyes, and you have a stunted, limited perspective of that thing. Decide to become the tree again. Look at it from there. Decide to become your best friend again. Step into that person's perspective. Look at it again. What do you notice that's different? And now when you look back on that situation, having tried on all of these different perspectives, do you notice that it's hard to go back to looking at it the way you looked at it initially? You've had the advantage of all of these other viewpoints. And it really, hopefully, opens up and unlimits, unsticks what was previously feeling stuck about that. And you can do this again and again and again with the same situation or with a different situation. One that I was addressing with someone the other day was her sense of looking at her body with basically disdain. I'd say that'd be a good word to fit it, disdain. And when she's looking at her physical body through the lenses of disdain, you can see how limiting that would be. So, and someone else, when I was talking about this, said, well, her body is what her body is. You can't change that instantly, which is true. But again, I'm going to go back. Good morning, Pat. We're almost to the end here. But this would be a fun one for you to do over again because there's some really interesting things in there. But to continue to look at her body through those lenses of disgust, again, it goes back to that old saw of keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. Definition of insanity. Do something different. Change those lenses. Change the perspective. I was talking to my friend Kayleen about this yesterday. She has a program called Body Love Revolution, which is about to launch again. And we were talking about the perspective piece of things and how society taints our perspective of our physical being. When you look at toddlers, they're very comfortable in their own bodies. They don't care that their little bellies stick out. They don't care what color they are. They don't care any of that stuff, other than to explore it and be really excited about it. Oh my goodness, there's a hand. You know, they're in awe of their little physical vessel. We certainly beat that out of them in quick succession, don't we? Let's get back to that. Let's get back to looking at our physical beings through those lenses of awe. So that could be another perspective that you take. If you go back and you do this exercise again, looking through the lenses of awe might be a great way to look at some of these things. All right? So that is our card for today, Shapeshifter. Shapeshifter. And the full moon in the background. Celebrate the full moon. It will be with us tomorrow. Again, illuminating a lot of things that it would be good for us to see. So, I hope you enjoyed this exercise. I hope you use it again and again and again, because it is so very powerful to help you understand nothing is really stuck. Nothing is really stuck. There's many ways to look at things, and the way that you choose to look at things influences greatly your outcomes. Have an awesome day. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far, far, far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.